If a man from Mars, that is an objective, let us say, uncorrupted intelligence, looked at the spectacle of the economic history of the 19th century, he would conclude that the so-called robber barons were the greatest humanitarians and the greatest benefactors of mankind that had ever lived, because they had brought the greatest good and an impossible standard of living, impossible by all historical precedent, to the country in which they functioned. They were men who took chances on new ideas, who on their own risk and their own initiative created new wealth. They did not use force. No one was obliged or forced to deal with them, to work for them, or to buy their products. What then was their crime? The crime of possessing productive genius. They were men who created material products, offered jobs, and offered products for sale. Instead of that, they were tagged robber barons. Robber in what sense? That they had taken from others, allegedly, that which those others had not produced. They were called robbers because they had the ability and the genius to produce their own wealth. The confusion between production and robbery is necessary in order to sell men on statism. If one makes no distinction between political power and economic power, between force and production, then, of course, one would accept statism and condemn the productive men. Nevertheless, and this is where we have to begin, we have to keep our terms clear, remember that before anyone can rob, there has to be something to be robbed. Before anyone can take over or loot, there has to be property. There has to be material wealth. And the so-called robber barons created the wealth which they are accused of having robbed. This is the worst intellectual injustice in the whole treatment accorded to capitalism.